In this episode, we show you an intuitive photo reading experience. What happens when the message goes directly into the heart of the matter? When the matter matters to you, something you have believed about yourself forever, and the message has you know that that was never true. Welcome to the Plumb podcast. This is a podcast for possibility.
We begin from a unique starting point and the conversation unfolds from there. We express authentically and we create the space for you to do the same.
Hi, I'm Rosalee.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Plumb Collective. A Plumb Point intuitive photo reading is a really cool experience. I look at a simple selfie of you and I feel what it feels like to be you. I share the messages that come forward from your energy with you in a really unique, incredible way. I share with you recommendations and suggestions and actions that you can take that will make a difference in your life.
We talk more about what an intuitive photo reading is in episode 2 of the Plumb podcast. And we also have a YouTube video called What is Plumb Point that you can check out. We'll link both of those in the description box of this episode. Check out the Plumb Point intuitive photo reading section of our website, where you'll see even more information and a link to book. The starting point for this conversation is our friendship. The photo reading we're showing you is my photo reading. There's 3 parts to what you're about to hear. The first part is a little clip of Plumb practice. The second part is a section of conversation. And then the third part is the photo reading itself. The reason that we're showing all of these clips is because it shows how the photo reading unfolded and why the timing matters. Rosalee felt something in my energy during Plumb practice. 2 days passed, and then they felt something even more shift. It became time to do the photo reading. It's really cool to hear that play out because it's so clear. You'll just have to listen to experience what we're talking about. The conversation and photo reading you're about to hear is the same as the essence of a reading that Rosalee would do for anybody. What's different about this reading is that it's part of our friendship. When you get to hear all the context around it, it makes a cool story. It's just interesting. And it really does give a taste of what a photo reading is like.
Every reading is special and unique, and I don't know what's going to come forward for my client. When I've done readings for you multiple times, there's history, there's energy that has been present, there's energy that has shifted, there's new energy. It's a deeper experience to have been read multiple times by me because I remember, I feel these things for you. I've connected to Sarah's energy many, many times. I have this experience of having a relationship with Sarah's energy. It's very clear to me when it's time to do a reading. I'm never withholding anything from Sarah, but I know that she wouldn't be able to hear me. Something needs to shift for the information to really make a difference. If I let her in on it too early, it would make it less impactful for her. I trust myself, I trust those sensations, and I trust Sarah. I trust that she is going to be in the position to hear what I need to share with her. In this experience, it took 2 days. 2 days, that was it. When I first did an intuitive photo reading for Sarah, I didn't have all of this history. The first reading was very similar to any reading that I would do for anyone because I have read her multiple times and because we talk to each other every single day, there is more energy and more nuance and specifics and details. Our friendship is a part of this reading. Sarah had asked me for a photo reading for her birthday. It was my intention. I wanted to do that for her. I was very excited about it, and it just didn't feel right. This is not something I would ever say to anyone else, but we talk to each other every day. If I did her photo reading, I would know all of the information in an instant. It would then have Sarah need to believe me for it to make a difference. What actually needed to occur is for Sarah to see something about herself, feel it inside, have the experience. and then have the words to describe the experience. I knew that at some point, me just kind of gently pointing to it and the participation that Sarah is doing in Plum Practice and the diner and other explorations would shift things enough that at some point it would feel like, oh, now it's time. And that happened during a session of Plum Practice where I felt, oh, she's right there. It's right there. She can't see it, but I feel it. It's right there. It's present. Within 2 days, you saw it. You knew. And then I was able to do your photo reading. But if anybody else is listening to this and you felt like, oh, I'm interested in a photo reading, but maybe I need to wait because Sarah needed to wait. No, that's not what I'm saying. That does not apply to you. It's time. When it feels right, it's right. I do everything based off of feel. When it felt right, you'll hear it in this episode. It felt right. It was time.
You'll hear Rosalee say, when you feel like you're blacking out. I want to clarify what that means. When I get in a situation where I feel like I need to explain myself in any way, it could be a bigger conflict or it could be a very minor confrontation. But to me, it feels like I need to defend myself or explain myself. I have this feeling of blacking out where I have forgotten anything I ever knew that could explain my thoughts and feelings right now. When you hear Rosalee talk about blacking out, that's what we're talking about. And when Rosalee uses the phrase, this long-standing belief, they're talking about confidence and self-belief, but deeper than that, my ability to communicate, my ability to verbally express myself to other people in a way that my meaning would come across clear and that they would perceive me the way that I know myself to be. It's my core issue that I don't know that I even knew was my core issue until maybe really recently because of everything that has unfolded before, during, and after the reading that you're about to hear.
A great visual for how I describe reading someone's energy is almost as if you are having a conversation with yourself, and then I pick up a different receiver and I hear the conversation that's on the line. When this happens for Sarah, like all the time when I'm connected to her and I'm listening to that conversation that she's having with herself, it's funny. Her intuition, her inner voice cracks me up. It makes me laugh always. There's always something that is just a little silly or a little comical. I have said that over the years to Sarah, how much she cracks me up when I'm connected to her energy. And in this reading, you will hear something that occurs that is very funny. I didn't respond to the funniness in this recording because when I listened to myself, when I listened to what I was saying, I laughed so hard in the moment and was just like, oh my God, this is just a perfect example of how funny Sarah's intuition is and how I was off on one train of thought when I was actually saying the words. Exactly what the message was. I needed to hear myself say it, which was just a special, funny experience. And that is different than an initial photo reading experience. That is an example of me having a relationship with Sarah's energy. Our friendship goes beyond our human bodies. Our friendship is really in this magical, ethereal way of being with each other, and it always is enjoyable and fun and lighthearted and silly, and it makes me really laugh.
We can describe what a photo reading is and what it feels like for Rosalee to do a photo reading, what it feels like for me to receive a photo reading. We can tell you about that all day long. It is interesting to hear about it. But if you want to have the experience for yourself, the only way to really know what it's like is to book a reading.
Now you will hear a clip from Plum Practice that we affectionately refer to as the blurt. I feel something. You're right there. You're on the verge. You are right there. It feels so possible. I believe that you are in time. You are in the exact position to receive all of the things about this topic.
Well, I love knowing that. And I can't wait to experience it.
I know you want to know, so that's why I want to tell you when I feel something. I want to just blurt it out to you, and I know that that's not the move.
Okay. So
But
there is something you could blurt.
yes.
Oh, I
I mean,
hope at some point you tell me.
oh, I definitely will. But even if I said it now, you couldn't hear me.
Okay.
It's things that we've talked about before. I've said before. It's not new, but it's present. It is there. It's you recognizing it. I hate to say it, but it's the same message, Sarah. It's the same message of claiming it. How could me writing a list of things I like about myself have anything to do with this long-standing belief I have about myself? That doesn't seem like that would be the answer to this question. And it is, though. If something is right there, it's in your energy. I feel it. It's present right now. You don't have anywhere you have to go or anything you have to do to see it. It's like something's covering your eyes, or there's something just obscuring this thing from your view in this moment, but it's there. You already have it. You just can't see it.
That makes sense. And I believe you. So that clip was on a Tuesday during our recording of Plum Practice. And now you're going to hear part of a conversation that happened 2 days later on a Thursday.
When I am telling you in Plum Practice, I know that you have it. You have the words. You're noticing, you're experiencing. What's the difference? You're by yourself. You're talking to me. You are not overstimulated, activated, dysregulated when you're freely saying things that are mind blown emoji exactly to the heart of the matter. What are the conditions? And then what are the conditions when you feel like you're blacking out? You're the same in both of those. But if you look at the external conditions, they're dysregulating conditions, things that are understandable that you would be dysregulated and you would not feel safe or comfortable or able to express the things you know. That is not about remembering. When I'm saying if you're trying to treat a broken leg with the protocols for the infection, it's not going to heal. It's like missing it. Just so you know, I am not blurting what I felt, but I am gently, softly pointing to it. You are the still point. External conditions is where I think you could look. You might see yourself differently and see that it's understandable that your capacity, your ability changes in the environments. The part I knew would be in your photos, but I didn't feel you were ready to hear was the environment part. This is what I felt. I was pointing towards claiming for you to see yourself, to name things about yourself, to value the things that you have done and how you feel about yourself and all of that. My feeling was that if I point to there, that what you would end up seeing was, I do know how I feel. I actually do know what I want to say. I am able to communicate. I knew that if I read your photos, what I would be saying is things that I feel like you need to see for yourself, that it would make a bigger impact if you had the experience versus you just believing what I'm saying. I know that this is too big. This is the root of the issue. It's a big one. You seeing yourself clearly, I can't do that. I just knew it was going to take the time that it takes for you to see yourself. And then during Plum Practice, what I heard you say to me, what you blurted out to me, was I get overstimulated, I get distressed, I am in distress. It's the environment. It was so clear to me that you know it's not you in those moments. You're protecting yourself by just being like, I don't even know what happened. I don't even know what was said. Because you're not allowing it into your being. I trust you. I trust myself. I trust that I couldn't just, I mean, I've been saying the same things to you, but I knew you would hear it and experience it. Maybe you're going to end up claiming things now. If you plug in the GPS, claiming, I just trusted that you would see the environment along the way. And I also trusted myself that I'm on the journey with you when and if there was an opportunity to say it gently, that you could hear it, or like that I would have the words, that it would happen. And it did. But I knew that if I looked at your photos, that it would all happen at once. And then it would be really hard for me to feel like I'm doing it for you, or I'm telling you I just knew I couldn't, that wasn't how it couldn't go that way. I wasn't withholding something from you because I was saying it along the way, but I understand clearer why I knew that doing your photo reading just wasn't it for this. And then now it's like the magic list, claiming it, what do you like about yourself? If you're not thinking that you're forgetting, you're not fucking forgetting it. You have it. You are connected to yourself. You do protect yourself. You do know how you feel. You do know what you want. You know that that's always in flux, and that moment to moment, you absolutely have the ability to tune into it, check in, and receive the message. Your connection, the line between you and you, the phone call between your human self and your soul self, the line is clear. That's just true. You need to give yourself a lot more credit, Sarah. That is an order. And I'm expecting for it to arrive. I mean it. It's so evident and clear to me, and it's experiential for you and important for you to see that. You needed the time and the exploration and the feelings and the moments and the memories and the refusal and the resistance. All of it was important. That's integration. You weren't missing anything. We're on a journey. We're on a road trip, and we weren't at the rest stop yet, or the, I don't know, roadside attraction. We weren't at the dinosaur statue yet. I told you about it and been like, oh my God, you're going to see this and you're going to see that. I mean, that's what we've been doing, where I'm like, look at this. I've been doing that. And you've been like, okay, all right. Well, now we're here. Now you can see it for yourself. Early on in the claiming conversation, when I was saying if you took inventory of your day, you would see something about yourself. This is what I was talking about. That you would see how much you manage. You would see how actually effective you are in an environment that's hard to manage. Something where you don't feel safe, where you don't feel heard, where you feel like you can't express yourself. Well, that is situational. That is not you, how you are, a character assessment of you all the time. I guess that is ultimately what I knew I couldn't put into words, that you had to feel. And I believe you feel it now. That is exciting. You have all of it. You have all of the potential possibilities inside of you. All of it. You actually have it. And you have a clear connection to it. And then it's the dysregulation of the environment. That's what I felt was going to be in your photo reading. Okay, I just read your photos because it felt like the moment. Environment was the first word. It was just right there. What I said in those messages is really what I would have said. What else is left? What would make a difference? This is going to be a weird one. But pay attention to the feelings in your face. This makes sense about your eye strain. It's a weird thing to say, but if you were paying more attention to your face, and I feel like you're showing me you're showing me the sides. You're showing me that there is a difference to pay attention to the feelings in your face and the energy in your face. But what does that... Okay, I mean, you're not getting a regular reading. I could just leave it here, let you collect the data and see, and then we could pick it up again. I don't have to try to figure out what you're showing me, but you're showing me something. Noticing the feelings in your face. That's like such a weird way to say it, because I really think that means when you feel things, you actually feel it in your face. There might be energy that is not yours in the feelings in your face. They're in your face. They're in the feelings in your face. In the feelings you face, one-sided, two-faced. You're showing me your face as a child, and it's one side of your face. Okay. That makes sense. This is the weirdest. I mean, it's really up there. I think it really is the weirdest actionable step I've given. But if you can pay attention to the feelings in your face, so that might mean like actual like eye strain, or your skin feeling tight or dry or oily, or sleep marks, or smushed, or some, like, is it one side of your face over the other? Can you notice a difference in which side is feeling something? And it might be no, like it might feel balanced to you, but there's something that I think you'll notice about the balance. Sleeping on one side, I'm not sure about that. The actual physical feelings in your face, noticing that, but also noticing when you feel feelings, do you feel them in your face, head? And if you do you feel them on one side or the other more or less? Is there something that feels out of balance? Does my smile feel brighter or lighter on one side than the other? This is such a weird thing to ask you to feel for. Why is this what it is? This is my answer to what would make a difference. Do you notice a difference in the balance, in the feelings in your face? That's the language. I'm not going to try to figure it out, because that is a weird one. I don't know why you need to feel that. Or look for it. The main thing is the environment. That's the clearest, message. But then when I just went to look as like anything else, and then to answer your question, like how I do readings, to answer your question, it's this. To notice the balance in the feelings in your face. The feelings in your face. That's the message. I don't really understand that, but I do know what you're showing me. I think. I mean, I have an inkling. I'm not going to try to work this out. I mean, that's how I feel about it right now, but I'm just going to, it feels like let it be. Like, let it be. This is let it be. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I love you. That's your reading. Very disjointed, but that's what it is. Okay, that's not the end of your reading. Okay. The feelings in your face are not in your face. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm saying the words, and I had to hear myself say the words, because this is not a regular reading. This is a different style. Okay, let it be. I'm like, okay, to just listen to it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm saying it. I just wasn't hearing what I was saying. It's exactly what I said. It's just, I was taking it literal when it's actually magical. I shouldn't have been as realistic. What I'm saying is, when there are feelings in your face, when someone brings feelings into your environment in front of your face, when there's feelings in your face, Check the balance and notice, because it's out of balance. That is weighing you down, pulling you down. Situational, it's external, it's circumstantial. Paying attention to that, noticing the balance. All the energy is over there and it like sucks you in, or it's like if the scales become out of balance. Notice your lightness. Notice the lightness in your face, your light. Notice the balance of the feelings in your face. Notice the lightness in your face. Oh my God, I really am good at this. It just like takes me a second. Okay, now your reading is complete. I love you. Why now? Because you were in the position to hear it, because you had an embodied experience. I knew that you would know. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do your reading today. It was just like, oh. Like it was that sort of like, like it just felt like something clicked in, like you were in position. I don't know. You've been kind of like wandering around the area, the perimeter, but you just weren't in position for me to say it until you were in position for me to say it. Well, no, it's not for me to say it, for you to hear it. I want to be very clear, because I've been saying it. And so this proves even more your theory about the doors, and then my theory of like maybe they all open into the same thing anyway. A door that didn't seem that interesting to you, which is fine, was literally the door of really looking at what you do and really seeing it, how much you manage and how in command you are of all of these things. That feels like the beginning of me talking about claiming. This inventory thing was one door. No. Then claiming. That's the best word I had for it. It's your confidence, self-esteem, all of those, but it's like that wasn't really it, but that was me going like, if you aim there, you'll get to something where then I can say something that could be helpful. Those doors weren't the doors that were opened. What felt like an opening for me then was I felt that you were like really close during Plumb practice, where I felt like I could have said what I wanted to blurt out was like, it's not you. What would that have done for you? You wouldn't have really believed me or thought that that was true, even if I would have said it's your environment. It's like, okay, well then what? Run away from everybody? And it's like, well, yeah, that's why you have that feeling. It's all understandable. It all makes sense. It really, really does. If it's not interesting to you and you don't open the door, all of these doors are going to show up. The things that I am saying in the reading are profound. They are dense with energy, and it is important and big, massive, not limited, so expansive. The potential to make a huge ripple is there. I felt you know something in your body, in your essence, in your soul, in your being, before I think you registered that you knew it. You just clicked into something. It was the moment. The moment presented itself. I was ready, you were ready, and it happened. I don't think you could have done more. I think it took the time that it took. It took like something being interesting to you, or that you're willing enough to work with it and wonder about it and ask yourself, what do you want and how do you feel? Like, I mean, that's what you're about doing, is going, how do I feel and what do I want? And then every day you're having a different answer, or every moment or whatever, and you've been observing it, and then you just said something that felt like, okay, you're clear. You do have it. And it really was this experience of the feelings in your face. I kept saying it. I know for sure that is the phrase, feelings in your face. But I was like, I know I'm not hearing, that's why you can hear me going like, because I knew I wasn't getting it, but I just couldn't. I was like, that is the phrase. It was so satisfying. Oh my God, it felt so good to me when I listened to myself, and then I went, oh, okay. It's the feelings in front of your face. Feelings are being put in your face. Oh, okay. Yeah. This makes sense. Also, the part about let it be. I was like, okay, that it's important for you to take inventory, see the scale, feel the balance, take that data, but then let it be. You don't have to do anything about it. You can just let it be. The more your understanding of what's yours and what's the environment, it's going to be so clear to you how to proceed, how to handle those interactions. I just know that. That's the claiming part, the claiming. I feel good about it. It's an ongoing reading. There's always more. There's always more. There's an open channel between us. Okay. I love you. Goodbye.
After I received this reading from Rosalee, I was very mind blown. The part that really grabbed my attention in the moment was this inquiry around feelings in your face and what happened in that part for Rosalee. It was so cool to hear the phrase one way and then to hear it another way, and to realize that there's meaning in all of the ways that it was showing up. But for the second meaning that came in to be like, oh, that's what that means. It was profound and cool and exciting. And I think that was my dominant experience. And then as time went on, as I think happens a lot of times when you have a cool experience, it settles and fades. As we continued having conversations about things, it became clear to me that I didn't actually get the actual point of the whole reading. And we recently had another conversation where Rosalee basically explained the whole reading to me again from this really zoomed out perspective, where I was really focused on interesting points that grabbed my attention. But Rosalee described it in the zoomed out way that I was like, oh, that's what it meant. Oh my God. I could have one reaction to that and be like, how could I have missed the point like that? And also, I understand how that happened. It's completely understandable to be pressed up against a certain aspect of this experience and certain aspects of my life. But this clarity call conversation that we had, it really felt like, and I said this to Rosalee in the moment, that they had taken my head, gently, lovingly grabbed the back of my hair and gently, lovingly pulled my face out of the water that I was looking into. And I feel like I took a huge breath and I'm like, oh, I see everything now. I see everything now. So that's where I currently am.
In every photo reading, I give the recommendation to listen to this reading multiple times. Listen to it when you are in different moods. Listen to it as many times as you need to. Listen to it and pause the recording, make notes, write down questions you have. It allows you to see things differently and to experience it in new ways and to see new perspectives. The first time you listen to your recording from your intuitive photo reading, there's going to be anticipation. You're going to be like, what is Rosalee going to say? What is this going to be? And you're not going to be able to hear it fully. Even on the second and third listen, you might not be able to get everything. Intuitive photo readings are rich. They are packed full of magic and words that are simple, that make a difference for you. And I know that it might be hard for you to hear it. Even though they're simple words, they're words that go right to the heart of the matter, the things that matter to you. And that requires more of you. It requires more listening, a deeper experience. And it also requires your participation and your imagination, your intuition, your creativity will come into play as you listen to my words. That is my intention in every reading. And I know that it happens. And it also really points to the benefit of continued conversation. I always leave an invitation for my clients to continue their work with me, to participate in Plum practice, enter the diner, have more photo readings, to have a one-on-one clarity call with me so that you can ask questions, that I can listen to you deeply. When I feel your energy, to me, it feels like a combination lock on a safe. I have some of the numbers to the combination and you have some of the numbers. I am getting every other number. It's the overview. It's the zoomed out. It's how the sensations feel for you. But I don't know anybody's names. You know their names. You know the memories. You know how people smell. You know how things taste. You were there in your human meat sack. I am feeling the energy and the sensations, and then I'm giving those sensations language. It's a different experience. And in conversation, we put them all together and it unlocks everything. My readings are predictive. There are a lot of pieces of the reading that you might not know now. They might be revealed to you over the coming years. That's a big reason why it felt important to record these readings so that you have the recording to listen to as many times as you want and at as many points in your life, because you will hear different things at different points. The things I felt in Sarah's initial photo reading 4 years ago, I have felt all along the way, and I have known that they just haven't come to pass yet. To have this current photo reading connect a lot of those dots from the initial photo reading was so satisfying to me, and it felt really good to be able to give that initial reading even more language because of the work that Sarah has done over the last 4 years and getting to know herself more fully through the Plumb Collective. It made Sarah's initial photo reading even more impactful because of her participation in Plumb. If you would like to experience an intuitive photo reading for yourself, I would love to read for you.
You can head over to our website. We have a page called Plumb Point Intuitive Photo Readings. We'll put a link in our description box of this episode. There's a frequently asked questions page, and you can always reach out to us if you have questions. It's all on our website, so check it out if you'd like to book a reading. I highly encourage it. Tune in next week for part 2 of the continued unfolding of my photo reading.